out stories.
Well, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you can.
What was it? I was about 13. Not to be 13, maybe. So that was like back in 2006 or 7, give or take. I mean, everybody first come out to like their friends and stuff like that. You just more comfortable with them because you see them every day than you are with your family. And back then, a lot of people wasn't
Open.
yeah, I don't want to say like a lot of people wasn't gay because they probably was. It just wasn't as talked about as it is now. So it was a girl. I mean, she remained. That's it. And at first it was just friends, cause you know when you that age and back in that time, everybody was following the facade of liking boys or the phase or whatever you want to call it. So like she used to mess with me all the time, like when we had recess and all that, blah blah blah. But I mean, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. She always came off as gay, but since it wasn't talked about, I didn't know, so I was cool with everybody. But it came a time where we started to like hang out more, and I mean, she liked me and I started to like her, and she probably knew what those feelings was, but at the time I really didn't, But I went along with it because I just liked her as a person at the time. So I want to say maybe a week prior to me like coming out to my mom, she had asked me like, are you gay? Are you liking such and such? And I had said no, but I really wasn't lying. It was just that at that week we were just friends. It just so happened that the following week we was together. I don't know. It wasn't like it happened in weeks. It was like over a span of like a whole school year, to be honest. But it happened so fast. Like my mom had asked me and I was like, no, because we actually didn't go together. We just talked on the phone and like it was cool. But then like the following, I want to say like a week and a half, she had asked me like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And I was like, yeah, like, why not? So I know you shouldn't drink at a young age, but how it really, really, really came out, I was 13 and my cousin, she was like in her 20s. She was having like a housewarming, and you know how you got a cool auntie and the cool auntie sneak you drinks. So I had like one too many, I guess. And it just hit the fan. Like I don't even remember. But when I woke up the next day with my hangover, everybody was telling me, like, you told everybody at the party that you was gay and this, that, and the third. And I was like, oh, man.
Oh, boy.
So,
hate them blurred out moments.
So my mom, she was angry, but she didn't really, like, say it to me. She was saying whatever, she felt to one of my aunts. And if you know my aunt, then you know, like, she don't have no filter. So she was like, one day we had got into it and she just started like blurting out stuff like, you're confused and it's a phase and how you gonna do that to your mom? Like we arguing in the car and I'm like, why are you worried about me? I'm not even living in your household. So I said that and I like called myself running away, but I really just walked like a couple of blocks because I had a best friend at the time who stayed like really close to where we stayed. So I walked over there and I was like crying to her and stuff like that or whatever. And I mean, it was weird at home at my mom's house, but it wasn't like she was gonna put me out or nothing like that. She just wanted to understand. I think her mostly being upset was because she felt like I lied to her. But to be honest, I really didn't. When she asked me, I wasn't going with the girl. I wasn't like, I could have said I liked her, but that wasn't the question she asked me. She asked, are you gay? Do y'all go together? And the answer was no. So it was weird for a long time at my mom's house, and then I decided, go with my dad. They don't know, they don't know my friends, and then I had more freedom when I stayed with my dad than I did with my mom. Moms are more attentive than dads are, even though I was a girl. Hey. So when I went over there, that's when all hell broke loose. My dad, he was like he was real stern about everything. He didn't come around to being okay with me having a girlfriend or like a girl until, for real, till I was grown. Like, I want to say 22, 23, for real. So, yeah, pretty recent. So, it was me, two of my cousins, and the girl. And we called ourselves having like a little sleepover at my granny house. That was so wrong. So wrong. So, it's only crazy because my granny passed away, but she had kind of walked in on me and the girl, but we was only like just laying next to each other. We wasn't doing nothing like extreme. But my two cousins wasn't in the room at the time, so it looked weird to my granny. And she just slowly like backed out the room. Like, what's going on in here? And she called me pumpkin, so she backed out the room, but then she had called me from downstairs like, Pumpkin, come here, like that or whatever. So I'm like, oh, like that or whatever. So I went downstairs and I was talking to her, and she was like, who is that girl? And all this and all that. And I like tried to play it off like, that's like me and my cousins, like that's our friend, blah 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 blah. And she was not buying it, because obviously she wasn't buying it, because she got on the phone, she called my dad. My dad actually wasn't there. So he ended up asking to speak to me, and he was like yelling, talking about something, so you a dyke now, and I might as well cut all your hair off. I ain't gonna have no grandkids. Like, he was doing the absolute most. And as a child going through that, like damn, I ain't comfortable at home. You don't wanna like go over to your friend's house and then be a burden to their parents, So I took whatever it was. I was upset and I cried a lot. I feel like, years. But I feel like it made me tougher, because it was nothing that nobody in the outside world could say to me, because my family had already said it. Like, it was a phase, and calling me a dyke, and old people terms is you a carpet muncher or Boy George, stuff like that. So I don't know. I can't say like it still don't hurt when you think about it, because you just don't never feel you will have to get that hurt from your own family. But it kind of built me up as well, because it got you prepared for what everybody else in the world was gonna say. But after that, like I said, my dad, he was just not for it. He wasn't for it. So back again, I went back to live with my mom, and by this time, I think she saw like in me, like I was just tired of like having to fight with everybody about what it was that I liked and what I wanted. Right. So she was more lenient to it. After it took a while, I went through that. I ain't gonna say like a long time, but maybe like a year and a half or so. I'm not really sure the time, to be honest, because people have a lot with her, so I don't know. And then I met her. So that relationship ended. I met her when I was 14 years old, and yeah, that led to her, her story.
Right. So everybody has a typical I came out story. I don't have that. It was not my choice at the time. I wasn't out. I wasn't really sure when I was going to come out because I didn't have the best relationship with my mother.
And wait, I want to say this. I did not know that.
She didn't.
On the strength of when we were 14, Jasmine pursued me.
Hard.
Go.
So what actually happened was she came over. I was staying with my mom at this time and in our apartment, and she came over to see me.
Her mom was at work.
She was. I was just about to say I don't think she was there when we got there. Fast forward, we chilled, whatever, had our time. My mom comes home and she comes into my room. And at the exact moment she comes into my room, we weren't doing anything. We had just got finished, to be honest. But we weren't doing anything, but we were standing in, I guess, a compromising position.
Well, she was, to explain it more, she was sitting on the dresser, and I was like standing in between her legs.
Yeah.
But clothes on.
Yeah.
PG. Clothes on.
Everything. So, but my mom walks in at that moment. She sees that she has this strange look on her face. She closes the door, walks out, calls me on my cell phone, and says, Jasmine, come here. So I say, okay. I go out my room, I close the door, I get in her room.
Defeated the purpose.
Yeah, and she starts going crazy. I mean, yelling, cussing. I didn't even understand why she even closed the door so subtle, called me on my phone if she was gonna make a big scene while she was right there. Like, I mean, no filter. She was upset, she was angry. So you gay now and all of this stuff, and who is this girl and all of this stuff. I kind of just dismissed it because I just knew she was in the next room and it was such a weird vibe. So I go back, I dismissed my mom really in that moment because she was going off and I just was not for it. So I go back in my room. By the time I'm even going back in my room, she's on the phone with her mom and she's like, she downstairs, I'm out, da 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 da. I'm like, I apologize to her, like she left. I come back upstairs and my mom is cussing and yelling, and by this time she has basically my whole family on the phone. She calls her mom, she calls my dad, that's extended family, sister, brother. She called everybody and told them before I even had a chance to tell them. I didn't really talk to nobody but my dad. He called and the first words out his mouth was, would I be wrong if I don't want to fuck with you? And I said, you don't do that now. Like, my dad didn't really come around until I was like, probably like 8 or 9. He was on drugs when I was younger. But he got cleaned up or whatever, cleaned up his act. He came around, but I didn't really have a relationship with him, so those were the first words out his mouth. And I just said, no, you don't do that now, and I hung up. And then he called me back probably about 10 minutes later and was like, my bad, I'm sorry, I guess I don't care. You ain't gonna get pregnant. And that was that from him. He was pretty much cool with it. I don't speak with him now, but for a while he was all right. He was fine with it. It was my mom that wasn't. I think that led to, so me being found out, not coming out, led to a lot more. My mom used to have a drinking problem that nobody knew about, and she would do a lot when she was at home. So the whole first year of me being out was every single day being talked about or tormented. She had a different gay joke. I didn't even know she was this funny. She had a different gay joke every single day for a year, literally for a year. I was everything in the book you could think of before I went to school. When I came home, she came home. I think after that I kind of started like running the streets, being unruly, not really caring. She tried to keep us apart. That obviously didn't work. Her mom accepted me, so it's like when I went over there, I was away from everything else. So I kind of would go over there, stay over there, not really care what she was saying. If she was saying, don't go over there, don't do this, it was better than being at her house at the time. So that kind of led to me being out of her house, kind of arranged for me to stay with my best friend at the time, who was my sister, Tasha, little Tasha, everybody know that we've been thick as thieves since forever. So I kind of went to go live her mom was cool with it and everything like that. And I didn't really talk to my family for a long time. So when we was together at that age, it was just like me pretty much with her family. I didn't really talk to mine, didn't really know how the rest of them felt or whatever the case may be. Me and my mom didn't really get okay until I was grown. I think because then I was able to like try to look past, because I'm still in therapy dealing with things, but try to look past everything that had happened, and I was ready, I guess, finally ready to talk to her. She kind of apologized one time for, you know, her actions and everything like that, and now it'll be okay. I mean, she comes over to our home. She's respectful. She texts her. She calls her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just wasn't okay in the beginning, by far.
But neither one of us. I mean, like I said, it was new. Like, not like the thought of being gay was new, but not a lot of people was.
Right.
And the fact that we were so young and coming out or being found out as such a
we were supposed to be ashamed and not do this and all of these things that we just don't believe is right.
Right. And who's to say that we wouldn't still be this way if they didn't like it so much? You know how some people are like rebellious because, if my parents say not to do something, I want to do it. I really don't feel like that's what it was.
No.
Well, not for me. I can't speak for you.
No, it really wasn't like that. Like, I wanted to be accepted.
Right.
Like, I felt like, I don't know, even being grown, I shower my mother with stuff. I guess that's like from trying to buy back or get back affection that I didn't have when I wanted her affection being younger. So it's like, I don't know. I always wanted the close-knit mother-daughter relationship, but I never really had that.
And I mean, our best advice is, you know your family. If you can see, or they have like she said her mother had like side jokes and stuff, if you see that they have that and you're not out, I don't suggest that you do come out until you are of age and you are out their home and you're welcome to be yourself. True enough, everybody want to live life like as their full self, but for safety and security, you know, it's hard to do that at such a young age.
And I would just say that as parents, if your kids do come out to you, if they come to you about anything, not even this situation, if they come to you about anything, be open, talk to them. Don't turn them away, don't tear them down, don't do none of that. Like, it makes for a problematic adult when they're older. They have to get over insecurities, they have to get over not feeling as much love, like a lot of things that I've dealt with.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I had to grow up very fast.
Yeah. That's really what it is. It forces you to have adult cognitive emotions that you haven't already been able to feel because you're so young. And that's like a mental thing. It's not more so with age.
And I'm not gonna say this was like the total like defining factor of why me and my mother wasn't close, because it was so many other factors as well, like her drinking and a lot of other stuff. But I will say that like it led to a I can't talk to you type basis. So
and you never want to have that type of relationship with your kid. You should always not say be their friend, but always be that outlet.
Yeah. I mean, you should want to know what's going on with them before anybody else.
Right.
And it's dangerous in society now as to where kids are committing suicide, as to where kids are harming themselves, doing a lot because they don't feel accepted by their parents or by their peers or things of that nature.
Right. And home should always be a safe haven, no matter what, because you already get ridiculed while you're out in the world. So when I come home, this is where I want to be able to unclothe and be fully naked with who I am, with the people that I love the most.
Right.
So, are you done?
Yeah, I think I am.
This topic was really, really heavy. I'm probably going to turn off the camera and cry, but it's okay. It's life, you know. You just gotta keep pushing, be your true self, live your own truth, because
no matter what anybody says.
Nobody else can be you. Be the best you that you can be at the end of anybody's day. But